Hello, hello, hello. It's Dubs only. Welcome back. It's Tyler Brook with Josh Hall. What's up, dude?
Not much, dude. Enjoying being back in Chicago now, not in the car anymore.
Hey,
Uh,
congratulations. You leveled back up.
Leveled back up in the apartment. Uh, Finally getting that spring, summertime weather. So city's coming alive.
Dang, just now, man. Just now.
Just
I
now,
mean,
it's been rough. It's been very cold, rainy first year in Chicago, but they
see, I
don't
guess,
call it the
yeah.
Windy City for nothing.
See, I guess I'm spoiled, man. I mean, it's my first year in Florida, and it's just kind of been nice all year long, surprise, surprise. But like now it's too hot to really like enjoy it outside. I always make my breakfast. I sit on the back table on the patio and I just enjoy myself. Now it's uncomfortable. Yeah.
It's muggy,
So
it's hot,
dude,
but
it's getting muggy. So and now that summer's coming along, it's like, oh shit, like this is gonna be fun. It's
the,
I'm gonna miss those California summers. I'm just a spoiled kid. That's what it all comes down to.
hey, we're not only spoiled with the weather back home, but we're also spoiled with fantastic sports teams. And the Heat is coming back to the Bay Area. Western Conference Finals.
Man, I thought you were trying to make a finals prediction there. I didn't know what you
Oh,
were saying. You were saying the Heat is coming back to the Bay Area. Whoa, 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 what does that mean? But man, I agree with you because there can only be so much heat when there isn't any sun. And we saw none of that last night from Phoenix. Man, just the dismantling of the Phoenix Suns, just to send them into like just an absolute downward spiral. Just talk about not showing up for a game 7, man.
and then having to go in at 4:30 in the morning and hear Pat Beverley talking all his smack this morning.
Pat
I mean,
Beverly, he brought his bag with him, man.
is it entertaining? Yes. Did it break some type of media code? Maybe. But
The way he reacted to everything that Stephen A. Smith was saying was like, do you have any idea what you're talking about? No, because you're not playing and you're not in the locker room. I am, and nobody cares about CP3. It was like, all right, as the Warrior fan who's been rooting for Chris Paul's downfall year after year and just being totally satisfied by that wish each time, which is unbelievable. It's nice,
it's
but also
it's
like
fun.
a little strange to see on TV. I mean, Damian Lillard called him out for it, like, yo, you're just being a hater. And
Matt
maybe he
Barnes
was.
called him out.
Yeah. But was it
Uh,
quality TV?
oh yes,
Absolutely.
I loved seeing it on my timeline. Uh, but that gets us right into the heart of it. I mean, Dallas. My prediction rang true.
Hey,
I
you were
will
right. I
hold
was
that.
wrong. Tyler Brook was wrong.
Uh, but Dallas versus Golden State, something we haven't seen in the playoffs for quite some time.
They are a familiar foe. I mean, Dirk Nowitzki's probably going to be in the building for these games, and well, it's not the same. It's not the same as the We Believe run, obviously. Oracle Arena is the one where he has his punched wall framed from that famous upset. But man, it's gonna be so much fun and just the entire dynasty run that the Warriors have had. If you want to count this as part of it or not, whatever, up to you. But we have not seen the Dallas Mavericks at all
No.
during this run. So it is nice to see. Welcome Luka Doncic to the Western Conference Finals. Uh, I'm really really pumped for this, man. What are you looking forward to most?
One, Luka is special. I'm just excited we get to watch him as a Warriors fan and in a series because it's going to be painful to see how good he is, right?
Oh yeah,
Like he's going to drop 30 on our heads every single night and we're just going to have to deal with it and take it. And I'm excited for that because that's part of the playoffs and having superstars. Um,
it feels like the Warriors have been facing somebody like that each round so far. It was like first, Jokic is going to have his points. Second, yeah, Jaw's going to cook. don't let him do too much, but it's about, limiting how everybody else can help. And now Luka he's on a different level than those other
He's
guys
a
too.
different breed because you can't just sort of let him get his own because he's also a high quality playmaker. Like if you, yeah, he's going to cook, he's going to get his buckets, but if you sort of treat him like, okay, he's going to get his, but we're going to make the other players beat him, he'll find the open man. And their role players are hitting shots, maybe not as good away than they are from home. Uh, Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith have been pretty hot these playoffs. I think they're both shooting above 40% from three.
Mhm.
So, when the ball leaves his hand and goes into some of their role players, I mean, they're hitting shots, but it is sort of a let Luka beat you at your own risk type series. I mean, that's the Mavericks, Luka and vibes. Um,
Yeah, man. And you said a couple of things that got me thinking because, just as a general principle, you see players kind of stick to that, not stereotype. I'm missing the word, but role players almost always play better at home, you know.
yeah,
So it's a big tidbit that the Warriors have home court in the series. Started off with home court against Denver, on the road against Memphis, starting off game 1 and game 2 at home. No traveling for the Warriors for over a week, which is really nice, especially with, the Warriors are the oldest team in the, well, maybe not the oldest team based on average, but, Steph, Clay, and Draymond are all over 30. And Luka is what, 23? I think he's
yeah.
only 3 months older than Jordan Poole, just to put it into perspective, which is unbelievable. He's crazy, but that brings us to how do you stop Luka? And if you're not going to stop him, how do you limit him? So let's get into those defensive assignments. Who do we think starts on Luka game 1?
I think you'll see Wiggins. I think so. I think the starting lineup is going to be the traditional starting lineup we saw when the Warriors were completely healthy: Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, Looney. I think you see that starting five. Uh, just the way I think it just gets the flow going better. What does Looney have another 22 rebound game and play all those minutes? Probably not.
Loon Goat.
But I think you'll see Wiggins start on Luka. I think you'll see Clay get his fair share. And if Kuminga gets minutes, you might see Kuminga get some time on Luka.
It's tough to
Those are
say.
those are my
Yeah,
predictions.
because the Mavs offense is different than some of the other ones that we've seen, and definitely different than the Warriors offense itself. Whereas they're more of a, all right, you get the ball, go score, Luka. Drive and kick. It's much more one player focused. It reminds me of the Cavs offense all those years where it was like, all right, well, we have LeBron, so we're gonna get our points. Luka isn't
Right.
LeBron yet, but he's pretty fucking awesome. So he's gonna score, he's gonna get his points, he's gonna find his open guys. So there'll be a bunch of screen rolls up high that'll get Luka the assignment that he wants. And I'm sure he's gonna want Steph or Jordan
Yeah.
Poole, whoever's on there. But the Warriors need to just play careful of that. I think we might see a lot of Draymond on him too, and
Mhm.
maybe even Clay. And Clay has been tough to watch on defense for a lot of the playoffs so far. He's not the same animal that he used to be, but I've noticed a lot of that. That the lower level of defense that he's been playing recently has been a lot of trying to catch up to those quicker guards. So I think he might struggle more with containing Jalen Brunson than like staying in front of Luka, because Luka's not the fastest guy on the court.
No, definitely not the fastest. I think the Warriors have good size against him. Especially if Otto Porter is healthy too. While he's not like the greatest on ball defender, it's still the size and the strength that's going to disrupt him because he's a strong guy. Luka can get his
Oh yeah.
buckets really anywhere on the court. So, I think he's going to get 30 every single game. That's just sort of the way it is with him and how the playoffs have gone so far. Do I think that impacts the Warriors from winning the series? No. Just the way it matches up. but I think Wiggins will be the primary on Luka for most of the series. It's just about limiting the early fouls. I think it was some of the early games in the regular season where Wiggins had picked up a couple quick fouls, which had made the matchups a little bit harder. But on the flip side of that, how do the Mavericks hide Luka in his defensive liability? How do they hide Luka on the defensive end?
Right. And we saw a lot of that in games 1 and 2 in the Suns Mavs series, where that now infamous press conference after the game with Devin Booker and CP3 looking at each other, kind of laughing at the remark about attacking Luka defensively and tiring him out. That's definitely a strategy that the Warriors should want to go after. Excuse me. But you don't see as much of that, like, all right, let's get this guy switched on to Steph and then Steph go attack him as much. Like when Steven Adams was on the court for the Grizzlies, the Warriors weren't trying to get him into that action as much as they probably wanted to, or that they should have. It's just kind of not the offense that the Warriors play. So the Warriors offense is a lot more of let's move it around, let's get screens going, let's see who can eventually get this open shot. And most of the time it's for one of those big three, splash family, splash trio, whatever you. But I would love to see more of that. And what I do think might lead to some more stress on Luka, or just trying to tire out the Mavs some more, is because they're a small team and they don't have a real shot blocker down there, is somebody like Jordan Poole could come in and slash and do his damage and get to the basket. And we've seen that early on in the series, both times against against Denver and Memphis. And it kind of faded out for those last couple of games of the series where he struggled more and they kind of adapted to it. I'm a little bit wary though, because Jason Kidd, as the head coach of the Mavs, has done a great job adapting mid-series. It was 2-2 for them against Utah as well, and they pulled back with 2 straight wins. They know how to adjust. They went right at Chris Paul a whole bunch, and he was totally ineffective. They might try to do that against Steph, but Steph's levels above Chris Paul, and we know this. So I see them kind of implementing some sort of strategy to try to really limit the damage that the Warriors can do. It's just, can the Warriors muster up enough consistency on offense to keep up? Because the Mavs have a very consistent base, which is, all right, well, try to stop Luka. And it'll be a test to the Warriors of how well they can do that.
I think attacking the basket is going to be, points in the paint is going to be the biggest thing in this series. Both teams can shoot the three well, right? It's going to be, can Poole, can Wiggins, if Kuminga gets extended minutes, or if he plays in short minutes, if he's playing in, 10 minutes, can he get to the basket? Can he get those bigs that they do have in foul trouble? And can you get those free buckets at the free throw line and in the paint? That's going to be huge, because if you can get them to play smaller and smaller, that bodes well in the Warriors' favor.
Mm-hmm. And even though you predict that the Warriors start with Looney in the starting lineup, going on the bigger side, at least for the Warriors, how do you think that will impact the matchups, at least starting the game off?
Yeah, well, I mean, the starting center for Mavs, Dwight Powell, Stanford, local kid.
I saw him at Subway on Stanford campus. That's my claim to fame.
Maybe he remembers that.
Gave him a fist bump. Yeah.
There we go. We'll have to get you to the game somehow.
I'm sure he remembers. Yeah.
I'm sure he does. How could he forget? But I think, he's a good size for a center, but he's not an elite defender. So I think for the time that he's in, the Looney matchup isn't that much of an issue. Looney, he's not as mobile as he was when he came in as an 18-year-old. Those hip surgeries did slow him down a lot. Mm-hmm. It's crazy that he's only 26. It feels like he's a 40-year-old man. But he's not bad at guarding people out on the line. He moves pretty well for a big man. He's only 6'9".
We've seen him guard players like James Harden in the postseason before.
Right, right. So
A couple years ago.
I don't think it's as big of a mismatch as it was against some of maybe the Memphis guards who were a little bit quicker. Dinwiddie is not the quickest. Brunson is quick, but that's just one guard. And Bullock and Finney-Smith, they're not the quickest either.
The
In
Mavs aren't
Memphis,
the most quickness. Quickness isn't their main trait. It wouldn't be the
no.
characteristic that you used to describe this team. It's just they're diverse in that there's a lot of players that can give you some trouble.
And they're not the deepest team either. And that's where I think the Warriors have another advantage. The Mavericks bench doesn't go back too far. They don't play a big rotation.
They'll probably play about 7. I mean, I see the people coming off the bench for them being Dinwiddie, Maxi Kleber, Bertans. Man, I would hope for some Boban, but boy can dream.
And
that's
that's
probably
really
not going to happen. Maybe Frank Ntilikina too.
Yeah, Trey Burke will get some garbage minutes maybe. Tim Hardaway being out definitely hurts. Josh Green, their rookie, he's not ready for those playoff minutes. So, if you get Dallas into foul trouble, it really bodes well in the Warriors' favor because they can attack that depth.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah. I mean, if the same goes for the Mavs, if Klay Thompson or if Draymond Green's in foul trouble, it's just a matter of who can get off that nice quick start, and that's something that the Mavs have been doing pretty well with. Luka's been averaging 10 points in the first quarter per game during this playoff run, and the Warriors have been averaging, I want to say, closer to 20 points and 30 points per first quarter. They've been off to slow starts, sloppy starts. If the Warriors can come off hitting their shots and limiting the turnovers, that's going to bode really well for their chances in this series. And I agree with you, like the Warriors, at least on paper, are the better team right now, but the Mavs are proving themselves to be more than capable of competing. And they defeated the Suns. It was a hard-fought 7-game series, one of the more unique ones because the home team won every game except for this just pounding last night. Man.
But you heard Pat Beverley. Nobody's scared of the Suns. But
Pat Bev. Yeah, but it's just those pieces like Dorian Finney-Smith, Reggie Bullock, Jalen Brunson. Like I can see Jalen Brunson trying. I think the Warriors will probably start with Klay on him, and I don't love that because he's going to try to just drive on Klay a whole lot. But trying to get that switch on the Steph or the Jordan Poole, he could have some problems for the Warriors. It's just a matter of will he score like 20 points a game, or will he score closer to 12 points a game or something like that?
I was, being a Butler graduate, Jalen Brunson going to Villanova, big rivals there. I was never a Brunson fan. I was a big Brunson hater.
Oh man! Wow! All right.
And pretty much anybody out of Villanova, but I was looking at his playoff numbers, what he was doing in his playoff run. He's gotten 20 a bunch of times, 20 plus a bunch of times. He's getting his buckets. He's going to get his. I think it will be very hard to keep him in that 12 to 18, 15 range. Mm-hmm. Do I think he gets 26, 30? No, I think he's right in that 20 to 24 range, which, is what he's been doing this playoff. So the Klay matchup does scare me a little bit as well.
Maybe we'll see some Wiggins Poole, on him too.
Wiggins, I think that's going to be an interesting if they run Doncic, Brunson, pick and rolls, pick and pops, trying to switch those matchups. I think you'll see Curry on Bullock, Draymond on Finney-Smith, and then Looney on Powell when they go small. When Poole comes in and you have that super small ball lineup, maybe you see Poole on Brunson. just because that's quickness versus quickness.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then what
so
about on the other side? I mean, the Warriors could have favorable matchups on offense too. The Mavs, they have a bunch of length and capable 3-and-D players. Dorian Finney-Smith is a really solid defender. Reggie Bullock can hold his own too. It's just a matter of can the Warriors capitalize on that, and that's where I think, yeah, that's where I looked at this matchup as better than Phoenix, because the Warriors can probably do more of what they want to do on offense with Steph and with Poole and getting Clay going than they could have against Phoenix. Like, I didn't want to have Mikal Bridges on Steph all series.
the Mavericks definitely don't have that standout defensive player who can take that matchup for the full 48. So if we're making a prediction for this series,
We're doing predictions now.
if we're doing predictions now, I'm going Warriors in 6 again. I've seen
Why?
a lot of Warriors in 7, but I think with home court advantage, the Warriors not losing at Chase Center yet, the Dallas role players not shooting as well as they have away from home as they have at home. Luka gets he gets a couple games, but I think the Warriors will take the first 2 games, take one away at Dallas. No, I'm going to say Warriors in 5. I'm going to take that back.
Oh,
Warriors in 5.
okay. Warriors in 5.
Warriors in 5. I think the Mavericks will get 1, but I think the Warriors, I think they turn it on. I think this is where they heat it up.
I like the confidence. I really like this matchup for the Warriors. It's just a matter of, can they hit their open shots? Can Wiggins contribute offensively? Can Jordan Poole get into a nice rhythm? And I think this could be a Jordan Poole series, definitely early on, depending on, that whole what if Jason Kidd adjusts. Credit to him, man. We saw him coach the Nets before and the Bucks, and he had that whole like spill water on me incident. I didn't think much of him as a coach back then, but now it's like, all right, you're proving yourself. You're proving yourself, Jason Kidd. You have my approval. But I think Warriors in 6. I'm very curious to see how game 1 starts, because I think there's a chance the Mavs could steal game 1. I think it'll be a nice, fun game, but I don't have the best feel for how exactly the flow of this game will look, because we didn't see much of it in the regular season too. This is the 3rd straight opponent that has gone 3-1 against the Warriors in the regular season. And you always thought, oh, well, that might not tell the whole story. Draymond hasn't played in 3 of these games. One of them, the Warriors won by almost 40. One of them was on my birthday, and the Warriors blew a 19-point lead in the 4th quarter. That was like, it was awful. They've ruined my day. But I see the Mavs, I think the Mavs have a real chance of being the first team to win on the Chase Center floor in game 1 or 2. But I struggle to see them leading the series at any point. So they pose a different kind of challenge for the Warriors, with a lot of options who can shoot and can stretch the game out. But the Warriors like that. They can play small. I think this is the series where you really see Steph get into his own rhythm. He's still coming back from that injury. He's only played 11 games. A couple of them were off the bench. This is where we see Steph really get into his, all right, yeah, Luka's not the best player in the playoffs. I am. Everybody be quiet. I'm still Steph Curry. I want to see that. And if we get a game 6, then we get game 6 Clay and game 6 Loon. And I see it going 6, because it's not that easy of a matchup, but it's also not this is a 7-game series thing for me. Warriors in 6.
And the secret weapon is back too. Steve Kerr is back. So
Steve Kerr's back. No more Mike Brown calling all the shots, but I'm happy for Steve. I'm going through COVID right now myself. Like I'm feeling better now, but I'm still coughing a little bit, and I'm not an old geezer like Steve is. So yeah, well, he was a professional athlete, so maybe he's a little better off than I was. But I'm glad Steve's back, and I'm glad COVID didn't cause him to sit out a game 7 because that could have been really rough. It should be fun. The Warriors are back in the conference finals. This is crazy. And it's funny just like being a part of the lead and seeing more posts in our channel about, hey, well, as most of us transition to the off season, I'm not reading that one. We're still going strong. 4 teams left, and the Warriors are one of them. How great is it?
Game 1, Wednesday night, 8 Central, 9 Eastern, 6 for the people back on the West Coast, the home base at the Chase Center. It should be electric.
Oh,
I know. I can't wait for every single minute of that game.
What do you think the final score is, game 1?
Oh, I'm going to go 128-105 Warriors.
128-105, Warriors blowout win.
Wait, no, I'm going to go 113. 125-113.
125-113.
That's my prediction.
All right, 125-113 Warriors win. That's what Josh Hall says. I'll say, I think it's going to be one of those high scoring series. I'll say 119-111.
Okay, I'm gonna put money on both of that.
Of those. Oh yeah.
Guess this final score. We'll see what the actual money line, the payout is on that, but
who knows? I mean, right now we're seeing the Warriors as pretty solid favorites in this series. And, maybe that's Vegas trying to cater to there being generally more Warriors fans who put out bets, but currently they're the favorites to win the championship. And I'm not trying to get ahead of myself, but it's nice to see that, and just I'm excited just to see where this playoff run takes us, because there's a long way to go. And we know what the Warriors are capable of. And it's beautiful when they reach that pinnacle of Warriors basketball, moving the ball, hitting those shots, getting wide open lanes and lobs to Loon God. There's nothing like it. So hopefully more of it to come. And man, I'm so pumped.
And we'll be back right after the game Wednesday night, recording the podcast for you guys Thursday morning.
Hell yeah. Wednesday night, game 1, Warriors Mavs. Let's do it. See you guys then.